All right, Necrobinder, Ascension 6, Inflation. Whoop, I totally messed up. I don't know what happened, but I immediately, my finger twitched, and I swear I clicked. I didn't even realize I was clicking, and it was the worst possible time. It was while the screen was going up, and I clicked on Large Capsule, which is cool, which is totally cool. I didn't even realize what my reward was. I thought I removed a Strike and Defend accidentally, which I realize now is not really a thing because you would have had to chosen those cards. But yeah, I got pretty good relics. It worked out well. I got Orichalcum, which 4-1 Orichalcum is actually god tier. I mean, the not having to block at all against these small attacks speeds up the run, number one, and you genuinely take a lot less damage, and you protect Asti. So this run is already off to an epic start with this combo. White Star is the relic that gives you an extra rare card reward. So like at the end of a boss fight, the card rewards you see there, same deal on now a regular elite, and pretty powerful. So as always, this is I'll tell you as always, this is a post-game commentary. I was playing this one, and I think I did have a Necrobinder loss. I made it to the final boss, and it was the Doormaker. It was a Doom run, and it was doomed for sure. Could not get set up enough with card draw, and I'll tell you what, the new Doormaker in the latest beta branch with now the 3 unique phases that always do damage and add a lot of difficulty to what you're doing is tough. It makes you, the extra costs card reward or card spend where you lose 1 more energy by playing any card is tough, and you've got to be planning for that way earlier than a couple floors before the final fight. So already we've got a lot of good stuff going on here, though. Talking about the run, you can see that we are in good shape from some attack damage here. We're already pretty well defensive. We've got some ethereal cards in play. We took a Veil Piercer, which makes the next ethereal card you play for free. We took Defile, which is nice, just damage, 13 damage, and it's ethereal. And we block for 6 no matter what happens. If we don't block for anything otherwise. And there are times where that can bite you because you might play a block for 5 and end up taking damage where out of habit playing the card, you block for 1 less you could have otherwise. So stuff to keep in mind. Like right here, I might make them... No, I do it okay here. I didn't know if I was going to play 1 defend and 1 strike there. But the other thing is, Orichalcum makes Unleash better. Because every time I get there, Asti's healthier. We're offered another ethereal card. It's Parse. I'm not sure what I think about this card quite yet. We could take the Spoils map. I was thinking about it, but I'm not sure I want to carry another curse for a full act. It's kind of a hassle. So instead we're going to take the potion here. I do have an open potion slot, so it seems like a good choice. And we get Shackling Potion, which is reduced strength by 7 for all enemies. So already we're very defensive. We get a nice Akabeko. We don't have any multi-hit attacks, so it's not the most powerful thing, but it's kind of nice. The first attack does a whole lot more damage than it would otherwise, and that works out pretty well for really any character. Just it helps you get through Act 1 very easily. We are going to upgrade Bodyguard, because again, it's going to be that much more effective. We get a Pen Nib, so I'm not sure we're going to be able to line up Pen Nib Akabeko that frequently, but we'll get the chance every once in a while. And then we're offered the opportunity to get rid of some more strikes. We already got rid of 1 in exchange for a Guilty, which is going to disappear eventually. And I figure, you know what? We got 4 more combats before that disappears. Strikes are more or less curses. I was debating between Strike and Defend or just 2 strikes. I also could have got rid of the Guilty. I am aware that I could have clicked that card. But because it's going to go away, the gamble is that I can make it through 4 more fights with it in my deck. And because we're so block heavy, it seemed over 5 fight efficient to keep that in my deck to then get 1 extra remove essentially. Because the temporary remove just isn't worth as much, not as much value in that play. Here we see the Veil Piercer doing some work. That Spore Mine, by the way, is a card that costs 1. and exhaust when you play it. So you can get it out of your hand if you want to. But long term, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to want it. We're offered maybe the best card in the game, which is Enfeebling Touch. And Enfeebling Touch is pretty awesome. It's ethereal, but you can keep playing it. That card should exhaust, honestly. We are going to get rid of that Spore Mine for 100 gold because of inflation. That was really expensive. I'm like, oh, well, I do not have as much money as I thought I did. So I don't see really anything else that is worthwhile taking. I'm not taking another Defile. It's not that good of a card. It's good early on. And we're going to fight a fight for the Elite, because this way, if for some reason this fight doesn't go well, we can just avoid the Elite. Whereas if we fight the Elite, we can't then avoid the fight after, and we could risk taking too much damage going into a boss with only 43 health. Now, ended up not being an issue. This fight is pretty easy. And Veil Piercer doing its job, letting us parse for free. That's really nice. That's a nice combo to be able to do. And with Enfeebling Touch, yeah, we are at 0 risk in Act 1. We block for a ton. And look at Asti in the background, just slowly gaining health. Again, making Unleash more powerful. It's a very nice combo to have that Orichalcum. And this guy, we're going to keep playing things like Enfeebling Touch to make sure we keep it around. That's always important when you've got ethereal cards that you actually like. And here we go, taking out the dynamic duo of the Shrinker Beetle and the Fuzzy Worm. And we're offered our first mega card, the Banshee's Cry, which, by the way, again, with this new beta branch, got nerfed again and now costs 9. Insane. I was like, wait a second. Why? That's forever away. However, and I think you'll see this as the run goes, it's actually still strong. At first I took it and I didn't look at the cost right away, but after playing for a couple of combats and stuff where I'm like, oh, that's expensive, I start going like, wait a second, this isn't that bad. Especially with like how often I'm playing things like Enfeebling Touch. Like I'm always playing Enfeebling Touch. Now we are going to take some damage here. Orichalcum again mitigating a lot of it. And Banshee's Cry is already free. 0. So we got there by the time we saw it again. That's totally fine. Like if that happens, that's totally fine. We're offered a Debilitate, which doubles your vulnerable and weak, but Eradicate is kind of nice because of our boss. There's the White Star, by the way. We took a Spirit Ash. The other card was that was covered was like Squeeze or something like that. Not really. It does damage based on the number of attacks Asti has, so not really what we're trying to do here. But yeah, back to the beta update. Number 1, they updated this boss's graphics and his background, which is pretty neat. I thought this was awesome. Very cool looking. I wonder if they might do even more work here potentially. But yeah, now we've got to get through Slippery, and guess what Eradicate does? Eradicate does a whole bunch of damage multiple times in a row. So you can dump energy, and we can get rid of Slippery even quicker. Now this is kind of cool because this fight was a little scary, and here's an example of where it can bite you to play Spirit Ash, because I'm blocking for less than if I had Orichalcum. I would have saved 2 health if I didn't play an ethereal card in that case. But obviously I want to make sure Banshee's Cry is free. And we're just, right now, all we care about is getting through Slippery, whatever it takes. So I could have used a potion in the first attack that we got hit with, but we've got so much block going on that I'm not worried until the next multi-hit, or the next big hit, not this multi-hit, the next big hit. Because we can parse, which now makes Banshee's Cry free, and there was a chance that we got Enfeebling Strike. Or wait, no, we already played it, didn't we? So instead, we're just going to block for as much as we can, but Asti is healthy. So he can take some hits, and it doesn't matter. We've got a good meat shield ahead of us now. And at this point, I'm like, okay, we drew Enfeebling Touch at the right time. We can do Potion of Binding. So now we only have to block for 15. And we should be able to take him out from here on pretty quickly. Especially at some point we should hit Pen Nib, whether that's on Eradicate, which is retained and kind of nice. Like, you might say, well, it's just Skewer. It's not, though. That retain is massive, especially when you look at having it with Akabeko, and Pen Nib. Well, retain not for the Akabeko, but the Pen Nib, obviously. And with that, look at the insane damage we do here. Pen Nib that, get rid of the Guilty, and we're on to Act 2. You love to see it. We're offered Spirit Ash, Call of the Void, and Reanimate. We already took a Spirit Ash. Call of the Void is kind of nice. But Reanimate's a cool block card too, right? 20 block. But the reason I didn't take Reanimate is because we're already keeping Asti alive. So there's no good reason to make him even bigger. It's fun to make him bigger, but it doesn't make us any better. And in fact, it's probably a dead turn unless I can somehow reduce the cost of that card. Instead, we're going to take what we took and get some more ethereal cards, which is going to help us play Banshee sooner in 50% of cases, right? Where we draw it before we draw Banshee. And especially if we get another Banshee, that's even better. So there it is. See, Call of the Void. Didn't work out this time because we just drew Banshee on turn 1, so that's kind of sad. But yeah, it doesn't even matter. This fight, we do take probably more damage than I think any other fight in the game. We just had a weird draw order, but that's okay. Now you can see we've got So, which that's an example of a card I didn't take. So where did that come from? That just came from the power we just played, which makes it ethereal. And honestly, I should have played that instead of playing Unleash, but so it goes. I don't think I realized, actually. Now, High Five's a cool card. Cost 2, but not if you play Veil Piercer first. You make that card free, and we make him vulnerable. Oh, do it in the right order, please. Yes, okay. I was hoping I remembered this correctly. And we're going to take more damage again. I think I could have played that differently, honestly, and taken none. But I was so excited about using the ethereal combo with the Veil Piercer that I'm like, no, I gotta do this. Now, this was a good turn. Orichalcum actually was what stunned the Rock Bug, and we're able to get out with Banshee's Cry. So we get a regen potion for our efforts and a Drain Power Plus, which is just a card I haven't taken before. So I figured, let's try that. I think it's going to be pretty good. And we're offered a Potion Belt and a Tent, but we can get a Pull from Below also. Now, Pull from Below should be a really nice scaling card for us, but I can't buy it with Tent, I don't think. No, I can't. But I can buy it with Potion Belt. So, since I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not resting that much, so, like, I don't need Tent, because when am I resting and upgrading? And the answer is not very often. So, we opt for, in this case, buy Pull from Below first, and then the Potion Belt. By the way, card removed, 150 gold there. Inflation is a killer and makes your runs way more difficult to get rid of cards through shops, as we talked about earlier. Now, I'm going to just immediately play Parse. I knew there was a chance that we'd draw some good stuff, but it was a card that I wanted to play, so Banshee's Cry would be cheaper. Now, Veil Piercer, again, it persists over turns, which is really nice. And this guy has taken our Enfeebling Touch, which is not cool. We definitely want that back. What is kind of neat here is we're going to Pen Nib this Defile, which is great, I guess. But Pull from Below lets us do a bunch of attacks because the way it scales is multiple hits, which is really nice with Pen Nib. It doesn't work with Akabeko because obviously you have to play. I guess it could if you played only defensive ethereal cards, but that would be hard to line up. We are offered a Page Storm, which is amazing because it works with ethereal, and now we've got like a real ethereal engine, and I have not had a run like this yet. We're going to go for Share Knowledge because I figure I could get another ethereal card. Veil Piercer was a consideration. Grave Warden is a consideration because it gives us both block and souls for more draw. And then Dirge is cool because it makes Asti a little bit bigger. It can be an energy dump if I have extra energy. And I kind of regretted taking that almost immediately after taking it. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? We've got the Ovicopter, which summons a bunch of baby Ovicopters, and we're able to start getting our ethereal cards rolling here. The focus in this fight is typically immediately on the big guy. We do get a Melancholy, which I'm going to play because this guy's got a lot of damage incoming, and this is ethereal, so it is going to make our Banshee's Cry cheaper. Now at this point, I'm starting to think about number one, I'm going to drink a regen potion. But number two, Grave Blast would be really nice for instances where Banshee's Cry is expensive, but then if I get Grave Blast later in a turn, I can return it to my hand and likely play it for 0. So by spending 1 to retrieve it back, it's kind of nice. We're able to kill one of these hatchlings with the combo for 10 and 10 damage, and Enfeebling Touch the guy behind us, or the guy at the back, the Ovocopter, the main Ovocopter. And we get Borrowed Time, which, by the way, is number one, ethereal, but number two, I realized during this fight that, Borrowed Time, which, by the way, got nerfed or buffed, depending on how you look at it, is a buff if you have X cost cards. Because what it does is it gives you a whole bunch more energy. It gives you 4 energy, but makes cards cost 1 more. And the upgrade gives you 6 energy, which is really incredible. Get it to 5+, by the way, which is an amazing hit. And the thought process here was like, I want that card in the deck. It lets me play... it could let me play Banshee's Cry, for sure, but Dirge and the Eradicate all of a sudden got way better because there's no downside if you play Borrowed Time. It does cost more now to play, by the way. It costs 1 to play instead of 0. And it no longer gives yourself any doom, which is kind of cool. So that's something that I'm kind of on the lookout for now at this point. Now we're fighting the Spiny Toad, or the Spiny... Oh, it is a Spiny Toad. Which is a fight that has a decent amount of damage coming towards you. And you got to be careful when you attack, because the attacks, every other turn when he buffs, it gives thorns. Maybe it's every 3 turns. I guess it's every 3 turns. So do have to be careful. I get a Grave Blast, by the way, and this is amazing because here's the combo of we could play Veil Piercer into some ethereal cards, and ideally I don't play Grave Blast yet because then I could play Banshee's Cry, but it actually lets me play another Defy or Enfeebling Touch. I think I take Defy here, which then lets me play Banshee's Cry if I can get 1 more card, which I can't. I'm just 1 shy. But that was pretty neat. That was when I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. Grave Blast is kind of nice. We want that, don't we? Parcel give me the free card, and Pull from Below, you can start seeing how the scaling can work out nicely here. Definitely, if you take a card like Pull from Below, you do not want Friendship. Friendship is going to destroy that synergy pretty harsh, where you lose 2 or 1 strength if it's upgraded, and you go from doing 5 a hit to 3 or 4, and immediately when you drop down to 3, like that card basically becomes not useless, but really, really weak in comparison. Like that's just a big difference. But anyway, we get through this pretty nicely at this point. We've got a Eradicate to take us to the end of the fight, and we're offered a Neurosurge. Oh, that's so good. Gain 3 energy, draw 2 cards. That is a great card. That is a card that I would clone if we got that opportunity. We get the Relic Trader, which I don't like any of these options, actually. I'm looking at this, and there's a White Star option, but we have 2 elites we're about to fight, so I'm like, I don't want a White Star to go away. Mega Marbles is good, but not that good. So we're going to go with the Akabeko Bone Flute, because Akabeko can be good with Eradicate, I guess, but it's not hitting that frequently. So, yeah, I figure I might as well just go for the Bone Flute here, which summons for Asti every time he attacks, or I don't know, something like that. I forget. I didn't even read it. It summons 2 every time you do something. And it's not bad, but it's also not, like, game-changing. But I guess neither is Akabeko, so it's fine. Now, this fight is terrible, as is tradition. We do full block, though, just about. Yeah, we take 1. And going into Neurosurge, though, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is where things get good. Because if we can draw... we have just the right amount of souls, where I kind of like it. By the way, Weakened. You can see right here how little damage we do with that Pull from Below. Weakened. Imagine Weakened and -2 strength. Don't get Friendship with that card if that's what you're playing. So first I go with the Soul. We get Pull from Below again? How did that happen? Oh, the other one was Ethereal. Okay. And we get to play Banshee's Cry. But I don't really want to play it weakened. But I have to play it now because it's either now or never. And that's just enough for us to kill a bunch of them. Or we can full block and take one more out, which is obviously what we go for. Yeah, so now all we got to do is 6 more damage, and this fight ended up only dealing 1 to me, which is traditionally the hardest elite fight that I deal with, I feel like, in the game. We get an intimidating helmet, so anytime we spend 2 or more energy, we get 4 block. That can break our Orichalcumate time, so not really that great. And then Devour Life, which gives you a summon 1 whenever you play a soul. Or Demesna, which I still don't know how to say this word either. This and Nonopapi and what's the other one? I struggle with a few of them. Anyway, it's a good card. It gives you energy and draw 1. Like, that's ridiculous. So this is an easy upgrade choice for me too, because it makes it cost 2 instead of 3. From here, we get another rock bug fight. Yay. I mean, this fight's okay, I guess. It's not that exciting. And we could do damage, but I think it's better to play the ethereal cards here and get rolling on our Banshee's Cry, right? Which is obviously super expensive otherwise. Although, another thing, I'm not sure if I get one here, but these cards work with Snecko Oil. So there are other times where a Snecko run could be useful if you've got a small deck and a bunch of Banshee's Cry, because you'll always be able to play them, which is kind of cool. And you might even be able to play multiple if you've got decent luck on the Snecko roll. So something to think about, that silly Snecko eye with the question marks could be good in a deck like this. Now, at this point, I have too many zero-cost cards where it would not be good. We do get an Ethereal Oblivion, which costs 0 and is kind of nice. We get Demesna too, and we also get Neurosurge. So like a turn that otherwise would be pretty rough is fantastic. We get to almost full... Well, we do full block. We can full block. But we basically... Asti will take a little bit of damage. And that's an important distinction, because he doesn't get stunned if he does damage to Asti, which maybe is obvious, but I was like, oh, that's good to know. Anyway, I forget what I was talking about there. We get back to the Banshee's Cry, and we start doing some big damage here. We were able to get some good Doom on the big bug, and we should be able to take out at least one of them. Ideally, yeah, because we could... Oh, no, nothing... Oh, that's right. I remember this turn. Nothing does more than 13 damage, oddly. But Poke's fine. Poke will get us there if we need to. And then we could maybe parse into something good. Or, if I'm paying attention, I can look and be like, oh, Pen Nib, Eradicate. That's good. That kills. And then some. We can take another Enfeebling Touch all day. There's no way I'm not taking another one of those. And we get one more Elite before we go into the Act 2 boss. So we get the Soul Nexus, not Soul Nexus, Infested Prism. Soul Nexus is the eyeball, right? Okay, I'm starting to remember all the names. I'm getting there. Unfortunately, we're not able to play all our powers or anything. We do have a T set, but we didn't rest before this fight, so it would have been nice. But again, with things like Neurosurge, not that big a deal. We can do some good damage here. And 7 energy, man, if we had Pen Nib on this for Eradicate, that would have been a hit. So we can do a lot of things here. We can Dirge for 7, Eradicate for 7, especially with a Strength pot. Or we can just try to full block and keep ourselves alive. So, Defile is good to work on the Banshee's Cry. And if we Dirge a little bit here, Asti will survive to the next run, or the next turn anyway. And we get some souls, and the souls are really nice. I do like the souls, which makes, after one more Defy there, we can now play Banshee's Cry, which will give us more energy. So it costs 0, and against this enemy, we get energy, because if you hit him with beyond his armor, you do get an energy, which is pretty neat. And once again, like, this is a fight that can be kind of scary, but Enfeebling Touch is amazing. It's like, I think that's the MVP card this run, not Banshee's Cry. I think it's actually Enfeebling Touch. And it's not even upgraded. I don't think I upgrade that card for the entire run. This card's kind of cool. We're starting to see how that card can do some more damage than other times. And at this point, I'm like, I might as well play these powers, I guess, and save Eradicate for a big hit. We can either pen nib it or, yeah, whatever. We can do a lot of stuff here. So, once again, Defy, Enfeebling Touch, all good stuff. That combo doesn't get tiring at all for me to play. And it feels good. It feels good. It feels between, like, now my armor that gain, and look at Asti. Asti's got 17 health. That's a decent sized Asti, right? Like, he's going to take a full hit from something and protect us completely. It's almost like having intangible. It feels like it. To me, anyway. Anyway, we got Banshee's Cry or Eradicate. I don't want to play either of them first. This way I can maybe get Pen Nib a little bit further back, because playing Pen Nib there didn't do anything. And we do get a Snecko as well as an End of Days and a Borrowed Time. An End of Days seems cool, but as we've talked about, Borrowed Time is just it. And another Neurosurge is an obvious pick. Such a good card. Now, playing two of them is a little scary if you're slowly killing things. I am going to rest here. No reason to take the risk. We are blocking really well, but at the same point, I'm like, what do we really need to upgrade that badly? And the answer is nothing. I mean, it's nice to upgrade, but I'd rather make sure we don't die. And if we take Disintegrate twice, this will help protect us. Disintegrate does not get any benefit from Asti doing Asti things. We use this as a setup turn. I actually opt to not play Neurosurge, again, just in case we get into some trouble here. And Disintegration with Aura Calcum is almost always my pick. Now, Mind Rot makes sense if you got something like, if you watched the last video with the Pyramid, makes a lot of sense there. It can make a lot of sense if you've just got a very draw-heavy deck. But we don't have that heavy of a draw deck. So instead, I'm more interested in, just playing cards. Now, that was kind of a good catch. We remembered that the So is not a card that we took, and it was Ethereal, which, by the way, retains, but Ethereal Retain is an oxymoron, if you didn't know. It will disappear, even if it says Retain on it. Kind of important if you didn't know that. And at this point, we're kind of rolling through, and we really just need to consistently block and consistently put out some decent damage. And already Pull from Below is doing quite well for us. Borrowed Time, again, this is a good example of, using it at the end of a turn to play a couple extra cards that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to play. And again, if you've got like Eradicate, it's just a nice card to be able to dump some energy at the end there. So far, so good though. I mean, we're not taking any damage. We get a nice Oblivion hit and Enfeebling Touch, and we're going to just continue to full block here. Now, we do want to play all the cards because we played Oblivion, and that does 3 Doom every time you play a card. So if you have the energy to play a card, play it. We get Borrowed Time again. We could have Borrowed Time Eradicate with a Pen Nib. I'm not sure if I catch that, actually. I guess I didn't catch that. That would have been the play. For sure, that would have been the play. With a Strength Bot especially, I think that would have just killed him. Because it would have done 22, maybe 26 with the Strength Bot. And how much energy did I have? 7 or 8? I mean, that would have got us pretty far along. Now, instead, we do play Pull from Below for another, 40. So that card's starting to scale nicely. And we take another Disintegrate because I'm playing more than 3 cards very frequently. Oblivion comes back to say hello. And now we're really starting to roll here. We get a Sacrifice, which is a weird Sacrifice Asti card that can make sense, especially with Melancholy, one of those types of runs, which I haven't done that, actually. I haven't had that combo. I can see how that might work, but I don't really want to lose Asti unnecessarily, so we're not going to play that card. It's going to disappear. It doesn't benefit us to play it anyway. And you can see our Neurosurges are starting to add up. We have 15 Doom on ourselves, which is a little scary. But Enfeebling Touch comes to the rescue, especially since we can play it again and double Enfeebling Touch him. And Asti does some damage now. Unleash is doing 26 for 1. We get Borrowed Time, so we could Eradicate if we want. But I think instead we'll play a few extra cards this way. We get double Borrowed Time, and we could have Neurosurged, but this is close enough. This This will get us the damage we need. We continue to full block. And this is, I believe, a perfect fight. Did we kill him? Yeah, perfect fight. Not bad. Not bad, Necrobinder. I'm impressed. We're offered an Oblivion, which was cool. Squeeze we saw in the other one, the last, although you didn't see it, I saw it, I edited it out. Not that good for what we're doing. It would do 30 with Poke and Unleash, 35 I guess. So I go for another Banshee's Cry. And the Whistle, I'm not a big fan. I have taken the Whistle. Again, we're not doing Maul without upgrades. So Meat Cleaver actually seems pretty good here because I've not taken it before. And now that it costs so much to remove cards, let's do it. Let's see how this works. I think that it's really strong, actually, because you raise your max HP by 9, so you heal 9, and you get rid of 2 basics, usually, or a curse, or whatever. You can get rid of whatever. So we get the Cultist fight here, as per usual. I feel like I fight this guy every time. And Borrowed Time's going to let us play whatever we want. But the reason we played it there is so that we could upgrade it with Drain Power. And we do get the Drain Power hit, which was nice. So, as always, Enfeebling Touch is going to save us. Play our first Neurosurge, and somehow we have all of our defense. So we might as well play Eradicate for a bunch and not try to save it for a Pet Nib. Instead, just move on. We do get the Scythe, which I don't really care that much about. We'll play the other cards. Scythe is not efficient on a one-time pull. 2 damage or 2 costs for 13 damage is very meh. And with Enfeebling Touch, we make 2 Banshee Cries for free. That feels good. And we get the Page Storm as well, which lets us parse into even more good cards potentially, like Demesne Plus for free. Oh no, I played Delay. No, I didn't see it. I think I did see it actually. we played that so we can get some just more damage. All right, Grave Warden, Sick'em, and Blight Strike. None of these are really doing it for me. We could Grave Warden. We could get a little more block and get a soul. So we are going to take that. And then Shopkeep. Kind of interesting Vambrace. Ivory Tile I've not seen before, and I'm not able to buy it. But Borrowed Time is here. So I think we probably just do that. I'm not worried about spending money to remove cards. Sling of Courage could be good, especially if you have Friendship. Also, it's not terrible in general with the Pull From Below card, so maybe that was a something to consider. But no, I think that's actually it. We'll just save our money. Maybe we get another option to spend money in another capacity at a question mark. And we get the Mushroom event. Draw 2 fewer cards at the start of combat, or upgrade 2 random cards, which seems pretty good because we're at full health. So we get a Defend Plus and Unleash Plus, which are totally fine. It doesn't matter. They're not being used very much, but again, just doesn't really matter. We are going to take some damage here, so this looks like a good Shackling Potion turn where they'll do 0. We haven't really been needing to use potions at all, so using one here seems totally fine. Otherwise, I mean, that saved a lot of health, actually. That saved 14, I think. Orichalcum being our only block. And now we're good. Now we've got 2 Neurosurges and Misery, which is a nice 0-cost card. And somehow we have 9 energy all of a sudden. Which is, you can see if I get 2 Neurosurges into Borrowed Times and then Eradicate, there's like some mega hits you can do there. Misery, by the way, very cool that, it moves the debuffs from one character to another. Not that it mattered, but it actually moved the -8 strength from the guy in the back to the guy in the front, which is kind of cool. Anyway, easy fight. We replaced that potion with another potion, a Flex Pot, and we get a high 5, which is okay because it's vulnerable. And Afterlife was like mildly interesting to me at this point. Summon 9 seems good for 1. But again, Osti's not dying that frequently. But Vulnerable can go well with our Banshee's Cries that cost 0. So even if it costs 2, it's still good for us. So that takes us to the battle bots here, the Axe bots, which are never scary, but always time consuming to navigate and pilot through. So we're just going to go with the Dirge. We won't full block. We will full block, actually. And this way, I forgot, we got the Gorget, the Jorget. I don't know what it's called. Oh, that was the other one I couldn't remember what it was called. That was it. asked that, or either asked that earlier this video or in a prior video. Probably the one prior to this because I recorded 2 in a row. Behind the scenes spoiler. But yeah, the bots are like, I don't know. I feel like the mechanic is interesting or could be interesting. It's a little gimmicky. I think it would be better if they came back with more health. Because by the time they come back, your deck is further set up. And so the fight's just not scary. Maybe I'll give that feedback the next time I play. I'm sorry if that annoys people and trying to make the game harder. But like they're not hard, ever. And I'm not sure I've ever even taken damage from these guys in, what, I don't know, 40 games now? 50 games, whatever I'm up to. So I guess I don't get them every time, but you know what I mean. It's just not that scary. High Five is interesting, but not really useful in this fight because it doesn't last for more than a single turn. And Banshee's Cry is going to one-shot these guys anyway. So I might as well just make sure Banshee shot's free. And we're Gucci. Yeah, this fight is almost obnoxiously long. And it doesn't help that the animation is so slow. Again, I kind of like the idea of what they're going for here. Do I remember Veil Piercer here? No, I miss it again. Oh, missed opportunity, man. Too bad. But yeah, so like I do hope to see this fight reworked in a more meaningful way. I know I don't full block here, but it also doesn't matter because Asti's big. He's all big like. And but do I take any? No, we don't take any. We do full block. And Asti doesn't even die because he's a meat shield with no meat. It's amazing. Banshee's Cry will hopefully help speed this up. I'm not sure why I'm trying to not play it. We can at least start doing work and taking them out. We do get Pen Nib here. So if we can draw into another Banshee's Cry, which I don't know if that's in the draw pile or not. It is. That should take us to the finish line. Nope. There's more. This fight never ends. Literally never ends. It's so annoying. What a hassle. Anyway, again, it's fine. It's whatever. But it doesn't do a whole lot for me. Now I can play some more attacks, which is the move, but I don't get any. Trying to get one. We can play Defile and Snap. I should have played Snap to get the Pen Nib a little bit further. That's okay. We're offered... Okay, this is interesting. Sentry Mode. At the start of your hand, add a Sweeping Gaze, which is ethereal and deals 10 by Asti. So, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, well, it costs 2. I can play it. I know it's not good. Cooking, by the way, is amazing. All right, let's cook first. Let's cook. All right, we're going to get... We already got rid of all of our strikes somehow. And now we can get rid of 2 defense. Awesome. Our deck just got better. But Sentry Mode, again, just kind of like... It seemed like it could be good, but then I realized it was kind of redundant. And if anything, it might have been a good remove here after adding it. I didn't even play it yet, but it's going to be slower than playing 1-cost ethereals. I'm already... There's other synergies, right? I have the Spirit Ash or whatever it's called. So we do get the benefit of gaining block when we play it of 4, but that can break Orichalcum, which at this point in the game is going to be broken anyway. So whatever, maybe not the biggest deal. Anyway, I'm thinking about at this shop Flash of Steel and the Toolbox. The Toolbox is really good. Flash of Steel gives us a little bit of draw, but isn't really that impactful. So we're going to go with Toolbox, which is just kind of cool. Take your time. I'm hoping for the power that gets powers that cost 1 less. We do get it. It's arguable that the 2 strength would have been good for, and the 2 dex for that matter, for the final fight here, especially with, Eradicate and some other cards. But honestly, I was like, yeah, this is fine. This is good. We have a lot of powers. It doesn't help Neurosurge or Page Storm, so again, really probably not the best pick, but it does make the Mesna easier to play, along with this stupid Seeking Sentry thing that I just took. Right? Okay. Mistakes were made, I know. But at least now I've taken it. I'm looking at this card. I'm like, I'm never going to play this. Why did I even take it? Also, that Calcify is another example of if we generate an ethereal power, That's kind of nice too, because we could play that for free as an example. Not that that's a card that I really care to play, but if you look, it's a power that's ethereal because of how it was formed, which normally powers are never ethereal, obviously. Well, I say that, but Demesna is, as I stutter through it. Anyway, we get Enfeebling Touch. So these guys are the least scary version of themselves when I'm dealing damage via big cards, and I am reducing damage with Enfeebling Touch versus block, where I'm getting frailed. There's the Defy Plus, but this is where I'm like, no, this is my chance. Grave Blast, now's your time to shine. So we've got an Elite Fight here. Now this is a good option for taking Flash of Steel. Prep time seems okay too with Eradicate and some other stuff, but just a little draw on turn 1. You know what? We'll take that. We don't have a ton of energy, but if that gets us a Neurosurge, as it does, you know, that may let us play a lot more cards than otherwise. So that was the thought process there. We do get Sentry Mode down for the first and maybe last time ever. I'm not sure I'll ever take the card again for that matter. Even if it's given for free. Maybe if it's given, maybe if it's generated, either via potion or like ethereal by this card that I've got now. Oh, and this fight, I forgot, this fight is amazing. Banshee's Cry costs 9 here. But guess what? Every card is ethereal. So, and look how many 0 costs I have, including Sweeping Gaze. Yeah. Also, Sweeping Gaze is a misnomer. It should not be called Sweeping Gaze. It should be called Random Gaze. Because Sweeping Gaze implies Sweeping Beam that hits everything. It does not hit everything. We do get Mad Science, though. So Demesna now is cheaper. And already, Banshee's Cry is free. And a fight that is typically kind of scary is all of a sudden not very scary. And then I realize, oh, we have Pull from Below and 2 Banshee's Cries. So we can just play everything. And I don't even think I get a chance to play Pull from Below. But yeah, we just destroy it. We get a Chandelier, which is amazing. We could take a Wisp or Veil Piercer Plus. I think I skip it first, but then change my mind and go back and take Veil Piercer Plus because it's actually really good right now with how many ethereal cards we're generating. And the ethereal cards we're generating are often cost more than 1. So we get another Neurosurge, but actually Demesna seems like a better card to pick, especially against Queen, who binds 3 of your cards. Oh, we just saw the upgraded artwork, by the way, for the first time. That was pretty awesome, right? I'm going to cook again, I think, because it's essentially healing me above what my max HP was to start with. And I can get rid of, Sentry Mode for 1. I think I can also, I could also get rid of a couple of other lesser used cards, like Snap is a good one to get rid of. And even Bodyguard is one that I'm not using very much. So I debate getting rid of Sentry Mode. But then I'm like, I'm eventually going to play Mad Science. So it'll probably just cost 1. And for 1, I can play it. I can play it for 1. So maybe we pass by it the first time, or we get it randomly on a turn where there's not much else going on. We could play it. And I'm heavily debating here. Oh, Unleash. I thought about Bodyguard. Unleash is actually what I want to get rid of. And Defile. Because there is still an argument for Snap with Retain. Defile does nothing of interest. We get an Eternal Armor turn 1, and because we get to play a bunch of potions, because we have Venerable Tea set, we get to play it, which is really nice. Enfeebling Touch already coming in big, and I figure, you know what, maybe we get rid of Dirge too, because that card is just not performing that well for what we're doing in this particular game. Here's the new Bound artwork, which is kind of neat, and makes me have to think a lot about what I'm going to do here. Now, Enfeebling Touch is good, but Demesna also really nice. I could have played Veil Piercer first, so that was a little bit of a mistake. And I probably should have, just to do a little bit more damage. Doesn't matter at this point, obviously, as you'll see. I'm gonna play this time. I realize, and I can play Demesna for free, which is really nice, or Spirit Ash or whatever. But like, I've already played so many ethereal cards that I think already everything is free, I think, for Banshee's Cry, that is. So it's not that big a deal. Now, Asti takes a beating this fight. I think he dies every turn for like the entire fight. We got our first Neuro Surge. We got a Time's Up, which thankfully is not upgraded because I would just sit in my hand and I'm not doing anything with Doom. So that's kind of nice. Well, I guess it wouldn't because it's ethereal. It would still disappear at the end. And here we get Grave Blast, which is kind of nice. It lets us take Mad Science. I thought about it after, and I was like, maybe I should have Drain Powered first. I'm not sure what the upgrade does for Mad Science. And if it either reduced energy by 2 or cost 0 itself, it might have been worth playing. But didn't do it. All good. Not that big a deal. And now we've got 5 energy. And we're like drawing a full hand every single turn. So I'm feeling pretty good in the fight at this point. We still have 2 Flex Potions for something. I wonder what it could be. What might we use it for? And now at this point, I'm just like, all right, let's just work on getting Banshee's Cry done and up and running. So I was like, I'm hitting the Torch Amalgam. And at this point, I'm also thinking, maybe I should be hitting Queen because she will scale quickly once we kill the Torch. But again, we're blocking for a lot. We still have 8 plated armor, which by the way is because Eternal Armor adds to the Gorget, whatever. And so you actually get 13 plating from turn 1, which was amazing. That's so nice. So we're just blocking a ton all day here. Enfeebling Touch continuing to carry and make that 16x3 very not scary at all. And this was a little experiment of if we retain a card that's bound, is it still bound on the next turn? The answer may surprise you. It is not. It is free to play it again. Not free to play, but you can play it again. It's not bound anymore. And the next 3 cards that you draw first are bound, which is nice. And Pull from Below is already doing mega damage here, which is pretty awesome. 6 times 13, 9 times 13. Okay, it's flex pot time. And guess what? We got souls that we can play. We got Sweeping Gaze, totally gonna matter. Takes out the Torch guy. Whatever. And then we got Borrowed Time. So we can actually keep, we don't play that Borrowed Time. We can keep souling into stuff. Which, you know what, at this point, it doesn't matter. I'm ready to pen nib. I pen nib the Banshee's Cry, which was arguably not the right way to go. But we do 20 times 15 without pen nib. It would have been 40 times 15, which is insanity. I don't even know what that is. 600? That's a lot. That's a big number. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a fun ethereal run. My first ever full ethereal run with Necrobinder. And it is strong. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day.